Remember when Nintendo was special? Back when we loved playing our games, and it felt like Nintendo cared about more than just our money. Yeah, me neither. Look, I didn't make this video to bash the Switch 2. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the console, but rather I'm here to try to convince you to look back at the previous generations and consider buying them in 2025. It didn't seem like it at the time, but looking back, we can see that the early 2000s was the golden era for Nintendo fans. I mean, just look back at some of the banger games the DS had. You had games like Pokemon, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White, Black 2, White 2, Animal Crossing, Super Mario Bros., Mario 64, Castlevania, Mario Kart. Every one of those are absolute bangers. Not to mention, if you had an original DS or a DS Lite, then you had the ability to play any GBA game that you owned on that system. And here's the kicker, you got that for free. Now you might be listening to all this and thinking, yeah, that all sounds great, but I'm more of a home console player. And to that, I say look no farther than the Wii. Not only did you have access to an amazing library of games like the Mario Galaxy games, Super Paper Mario, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros., Wii Sports, the Zelda games, the Metroid games, and I could go on and on and on. But you also had an amazing library of GameCube games if you had the backwards compatible console. And again, if you had that particular console, access to those games was free. And with all that being said, you now have access to 4 generations through only 2 consoles. You have GBA, DS, GameCube, and Wii, all with just 2 consoles. And yes, you can play a lot of the same games on the Switch 2, but you're going to be paying a whole lot more for it. And most of the time you're not even going to be owning the game, you're going to be paying for an online subscription, which in my opinion is not worth it. I'm going to build 2 separate experiences here, one with the older generation consoles using current market prices, and one with the newer console using current retail prices. And I'm going to try to keep it pretty fair, meaning that I'm not just going to pick the cheapest games on the DS and Wii and then the most expensive games on the Switch 2. I'm going to build 2 different scenarios that I would genuinely want to have. And all you all have to do is let me know which one you would prefer down in the comments. Alright, first up, I decided to go with the Switch Mario Kart bundle, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Pokemon ZA plus the DLC, Donkey Kong Bonanza plus its DLC, Kirby Air Ride, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and Mario Party Jamboree plus its DLC. And not to mention I added the online service in there as well, bringing us to a grand total of 8 games at $1,029.90. Next up, we got the old consoles. I went with the Wii that's backwards compatible with the GameCube games, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Mario Sunshine, Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart Double Dash, Animal Crossing City Folk, Super Mario Bros. Wii. I also picked up a DS Lite, Mario 64, Mario Kart DS, Animal Crossing on the DS, and to shake things up and add a little extra price, I picked up Pokemon Heart Gold and Pokemon Emerald. Those 2 games together are almost $350, and that brings our grand total to $731.20 with 12 games. I want this to sink in. Had I not added those 2 Pokemon games, my grand total would have been $376.25, which is cheaper than the Switch 2 with no games. So here's the deal. If you're new to Nintendo, or you missed out on the DS and the Wii when they were in their prime, you should seriously consider picking one up now, because you're essentially getting 4 consoles for the price of 2, and that's a much better deal than paying for 1 console at the price of 4. But at the same time, don't assume that the Switch 2 deserves all the hate that it gets. The DS and the Wii didn't become legends overnight. It took years of games and experiences to build that legacy. The Switch 2 is just getting started, and while the past might feel unbeatable, the future of Nintendo might surprise us all over again. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is my first time making a video structured like this, so if it's something that you enjoyed, drop a like, and I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comments. Also, if you enjoy Nintendo content, this is only the beginning, so stick around.